I've cheated on my rule to not watch social media. I've already spent an hour on social media today randomly, and it's bad. And I stumbled upon this business guru video. And it's funny to look back and notice how I was in this rat race. This next video will teach me what I need to learn about business. And now that I've had a week and a half of no social media in that space and no social media in general, except for when I go to sleep. But when I go to sleep, I don't tend to watch things like that because I don't really have the mental capacities at 1 o'clock at night to really pay attention, and I just want some entertainment. And thing is, there is this rat race where you tend to think that the next video from the next guru will make you more money. But I got access to so many courses, so many expensive courses from people who bought them, and it didn't help them make more money. It didn't help me make more money. So that's just because to sell a business guru course, you have to like market it and make it seem like it's for everyone, because that will get you the most amount of people. And the trick is that you don't take ownership of their failure, because you tell them like, look, you didn't do what, you don't even talk to them, but you've already taken their money, so you don't care about it. So it's and it's also built as let's say how is it called, um, cult. People look at up at this figure and they think that they are mesmerized, and they are like in a religion. They look up and they can do, the guru can do no wrong if they bought into the sauce. And it's better, if you ever spend money on a course, instead of spending that money on a course or on something, you might as well get someone to do something for you for that money. It's much better spent. Like, find something that someone else can do for you and delegate your tasks or whatever you want to achieve, pay them. You will never, it's almost always a better lesson than taking a course or buying a book from a business guru on the internet, or taking a call or whatever, consulting call or whatever. It's always better to, for that money, to pay someone else who can do something for you. That's how basically economic leverage can be built. You don't build economic leverage by having these people tell you what to do. You build economic leverage by having some money that you would have spent on the guru, on the course, and taking that money and paying someone to do something for you, because you then become this person who employs other people. So you instantly become an entrepreneur, let's say. And the more you do that, the more you understand that you don't really have to do much work, and you understand the economic system. You understand that money is just a thing that you can use to achieve what you want faster, without stress and without spending a lot of time. So you're spending money to giving it away to someone else to do something for you. And once you have done that a few times successfully and you get back more than you put in, usually you have to do a 3x minimum. So whatever that person does for you, it has to generate 3 times the income. And yeah, I think that's a way better way to make money than just to learn about things from a course. Like, I think that's the point. You delegate more than you spend on educating yourself, because if you delegate and you make a mistake and you lose the money, you learn way more about doing things and how to delegate, and you are less likely to and fact is, you are less likely to lose the money than spending it on the course, because you are going to be a lot more cautious on what you give that person to do. And just a few times of doing that and getting it wrong will teach you how to do it right, and how to really find the people who can do what you want and you can profit off of their work. I know it's a capitalism 101, but people don't understand that. People don't, people spend more money on courses than they spend, well, regular people. I'm not talking about businesses, but regular people spend more money on businesses rather than hiring help. Like, the moment you start to hire help, you will start to, teaches you in different ways. Like, first way is you do uh, you hire someone part-time, let's say. You think that's a great deal, but then you find out that you don't have enough tasks. After 2 months, you don't have anything to give them to work, and then you have to invent things. So you're like, okay, let's see what I can give this person to do, because I'm paying them no matter what. And then you go to freelancers and you pay freelancers, and you're like, I'm paying this person, but it kind of stinks because I'm paying them way more than I pay the employee, but they're getting the results. So then you start to understand that you have to find ways to entice people to do more for less. And you start to develop these strategies like bundling and making the sum, because if you tell someone, look, I'm going to give you $10,000 for this amount of work. If you start with the 10,000, the work doesn't seem that much. They will soon start to realize, and you can tell them as well, like, look, per project is this much, per video you edit is this much. So you still pay them by the project. It's not a salary. It's not as if they don't get results, but the sum itself can really have a lot of negotiating power. Like, you can get 50% discounts if you start with a bigger project. If you say to people, look, I'm going to give you this much money at the end of the project, or I can pay you deferred, as in every time you give a result, well, bundling up results. So they might end up working for less. And sometimes you might get screwed, sometimes you might not, depending on the person you hire. But you can offer other things to freelancers, like flexibility on deadlines. If you don't have deadlines for your things, then they can work on their free time. So they can maximize their work capacity or whatever. When they don't have anything to do for a day, they work for you, so they fill it in. Flexibility is quite an important idea to people who work remotely, because sometimes they're very busy, sometimes they're not. And when they're not, they might as well just do something to earn a little bit of money. So you're getting a discount that way. But yeah, always spend money to have things happen rather than to pay someone else for something else that is almost guaranteed not to get you anything. So yeah, As you can see, I've changed the camera due to the fact that the other one broke. Even though it's a 2-month old camera and this one is a 2-year-old camera, it broke. The screen was supposed to sit like this or vertical, and it just stayed on a diagonal, which kind of sucked because I liked that camera. But then I edited some videos, and then I noticed because I filmed some of the videos on this already on this camera, and I've noticed how much better this one looks. It's incredible how much more qualitative it feels and it looks. And plus, it has a zoom, which is nice to have a zoom to be able to change a little bit the focal length and become a bit more beautiful. A lot more compression so you can see a lot more of my ears. So now I have this microphone, which is also nice because this is a good microphone. But I do have to do a lot of like things because in order to be able to edit, I edit off of the camera already, and then I render. But because I have all both both of the ports, the USB-C ports on the MacBook busy, I cannot charge it. So the battery drains while rendering videos, which is bad. So that's my current situation. I did watch about 2.5 hours of social media, and because I watched 2.5 hours of social media, I got brain fog for about an hour. It was so bad. I was at 70% mental capacities. Like I just had this weird bad feeling in my whole brain and body and everywhere. I found myself so slain, so like no energy at all. And then I realized, of course, now I know it's because of the social media, but I stopped it. And in about an hour, I was at 90%, and now I'm at 100%. And it's amazing to be back. It feels super, super boring. Like life is so boring when you don't have social media, when you don't watch any social media, because you just sit around and look and not listen to anything because you can't listen to anything. And it's quite the interesting idea. And hopefully, I get so bored that I get a job. Yeah, it's fun. But there is no question in my mind right now, I cannot watch social media anymore, especially during the day. Like I can do it when I go to bed, because when I'm going to bed I'm already tired and I finished the work, so it doesn't really matter if I have brain fog, and by the morning it clears up, so I don't feel any side effects in the morning of the social media late night consumption. But during the day, if I couldn't believe it. Like it felt like more than 3 hours I watched, and then I checked, and it was 1 hour 47 minutes on YouTube, and then 43 something on Facebook. I just got a notification, and then I started scrolling like a madman for no apparent reason. And yeah, it was just so bad, and I couldn't believe how fast it all went down. From watching just 2.5 hours, I was like in a fog at 70%. I wasn't like a week and a half ago where I was like super, super badly depressed and at 50% capacity, but still, I was feeling that brain fog coming back. And I was like, oh my God, there is no way I can continue today if I don't just stop turkey, cold turkey. And I did. And I'm happy I did because now I feel at 100%. Of course, I also meditated for 1 hour and that helped. I went out with Sophie, that helped as well. But after the 30-minute meditation, I was still feeling the brain fog. So it doesn't even clear up in half an hour. Even if you meditate for an entire session of 30 minutes, it still doesn't help. So, yeah, I hope it's just me and I have these awful brain fog things. But yeah, I couldn't notice it before. Like now I'm remembering all of these moments where I've been having this brain fog, and I can remember that it was a because of the binge watching and binge listening to podcasts or playlists or things like that. And those were the worst. Like I just felt heavy and like no. Instead of being light and energetic and very joyful, I was heavy and super kind of almost depressed, but not depressed, just consumed. Instead of being energized by the things that I was listening to, I was being consumed by them. And I remember that a lot of the periods of my life where I've been the most miserable were because I was watching a lot of playlists, podcasts, a lot of things. So I was racking up hours and hours of just listening to garbage. It's not all garbage, but like that idea alone, the fact that I can remember times when I was feeling drained and just squeezed and consumed. And I can remember all of those moments of my life. And now I can see, because back then I didn't know that this was the cause. I was thinking that I'm just feeling that way. I didn't think that social media would basically just fry my brain to the point where I can't think or I can't create or I can't do things. And it's obvious in hindsight and crazy obvious because now I can remember all the times when I was feeling super, super bad and heavy. And I started to remember more and more and more of these times. Like I was remembering a point where I was shopping just across the street and everything felt like I just didn't want to do it. Like not even shopping for some groceries was too burdensome because my mind was so foggy. And now I just don't. I don't consume any more social media. At least that's what I hope. Thank you for watching and see you tomorrow.